name is Oracle. I will be providing a Shota Aizawa guide for My Hero Ultra Rumble. So, first and foremost, I would like to consider myself like one of the best players on this character. I've been rating him ever since Season 2. I didn't have him in Season 1, sadly. But either way, I've spent countless hours trying to learn this character, and I just want to let everybody know his strengths and how he can affect team fights. So, to begin with, what does Aizawa do? He's a highly mobile, flexible support character. Leans more towards aggression than support, but he can be defensive when he needs to be, i.e. the support part of his kit. So, he, out of any character in the game, in my opinion, has the most difficult learning curve of any character in the game. And I say this because of the factors that you have to balance in order to control the fight properly. Like, there's ways that you can mess up how you cycle your abilities and end up losing the fight because of that. There's a certain way you have to tackle certain matchups. So, most things will not come easy to him. But the reward for time spent on him is really big. So let's get into the abilities with Alpha. Alpha, to begin with, is his most matchup defining, one of his most matchup defining abilities. So, it's his primary ability used for movement, control, and damage. As most people know, it's usable in the ground for a grab, ground on the grab, in the air, and for movement. So, before this never used to do damage. The grab part never used to do damage, but in a most recent update it does 40 now on hit. Because of that, his at level 9. Let me set this up. At level 9, Air Alpha used to do 220 in total. Because the ground kick used to do more, but since they added damage to the grab now, they reduced the damage on the ground kick. So, the total at level 9 used to be 220 damage, now it's only 210. Not that much difference, but still something to keep in mind. So, with the Alpha, most of the time you just want to be doing the air version. Very rarely do you want to do the ground version of the Alpha. Like 90% of the time you want to be doing the air version if possible. Only times you really want to do the ground version is you're kind of pretty much already winning the fight and you know you can guarantee this. Because if you whiff this, the recovery time is a lot. Like, you can't throw another one until it returns back to your hand. So if you're like in a 1v1 scenario and you're trying to grab them and you just keep missing and just hitting nothing, they're just hitting you for damage while you're not doing anything back to them. So most of the time, I'm going to be doing this, so it's harder for them to hit you, and you have a better chance to hit them with this and get some damage off and reset the situation. So, because if you don't hit anything, if you hit something, it returns faster. But if you don't hit anything, it takes much longer to return, and you're also slowed while you're moving. So about the air version, after the drop kick, if you don't hold a direction, he will always just kind of flip into a neutral position. But you can hold a direction and dictate where you want to go next. So you can hold forward, get closer to your opponent, hold back, set up for another one. Same thing on hit. And hold back. Has to land on the ground. Hold forward, get next to the opponent. Same thing. So you can dictate where you want to go after the drop kick lands. Also, another thing about the Air Alpha, you kind of have to realize when you will actually do the grounded hit. Because there are some situations where if you don't do the grounded hit and you just get the kick version. I'm trying to show that off, it's kind of like if you just get the kick version, you will travel with them and won't knock them over. They can tech in the air at that point. So see how he hits the ground there? If I was to just do the kick portion, I would travel with them and be right next to them, and they can tech like off the ground a lot faster. So that's something to be wary of. And that's pretty much it. The ground version doesn't really have much to say. You just use it to pull people in, control fights. You can hold them there, have teammates hit them while they're being held. Mainly, you just want to be using the air version of this. 90% of it. Okay, so that's the alpha. Got to get really good with using that alpha. It's a really good tool for him. So, about the beta, not much to say about this. You use it for strictly mobility. 99% of the time, strictly mobility. There are some edge cases where you use it for damage, like after you pull somebody in, your damage not up, you use it to end the combo. There are some combos that start with beta, but most of the time you really won't be doing those. It's strictly a movement tool. It also sets you up into your air alphas. Good night. So, that's the beta. Not much to say about it. Alright. Gamma. It's basically a combo ender and a defensive tool. It blocks projectiles from the front. That's what that little veil is in front of it. Set this on level 9 so it comes up faster. With a little veil in front of it that blocks projectiles. That's part of his defensive aspect. You can use it to block projectiles if need be. Also, if you're in the middle of a fight and you get a ground alpha, you can position yourself into like where the person's teammates that might shoot you from to block their projectiles so you don't get hit in the back. So use this. Say, I'm gonna pull it over here. So, say you're in the middle of the fight, you grab a Cementos. The Bakugo is to your left. If you Gamma here, he can move around and hit you in the back and just get free damage off on you. In any other sense, if you grab the Cementos, you move and do the Gamma here, he can't hit you. It's a lot harder. He has to fly up, and then at that point you can beta away. It will take him too long to try and get to the behind you in order to get free damage off on you. So pull him in, face other teammates. Use the Gamma. Not much to say about the Gamma. It's pretty much it. Now, on to his special action, which is the hardest mechanic to manage on this character and why he is so difficult to use. First and foremost, everyone knows what it does. It cancels your quirks.
Impossible.
Now, there's certain thresholds that you want to hit, or you want to remember, with using this special action. Where, let me go and get some purple cards so it comes up faster. So, there are certain thresholds you want to remember about using the special action. Where if you use it and cancel it as fast as possible, it goes to 85%. And that's with just pressing the same button again. However, you can cancel the special action with any of his other moves. Melee.
So close.
The Alpha. The Beta. Or the Gamma, as you can see. Literally any other thing can cancel it a lot faster at 95%. That's the earliest that you can cancel it with any other move. See, I got 94 there. I was a little bit late. 94 again. 95. There you go. So, you can use this to quickly shut off somebody's quirk that has a movement ability on their quirk. I.e., best examples to quick cancel somebody's quirk is Momo's shield bashing. If Momo's using her shield bash, you can cancel her out of it real quick and grab her before she realizes that she's been canceled. So she's moving a lot slower. She's not sprinting, she's not rolling, she's probably just walking around. It's a lot easier to hit the ground alpha to grab her. Another one is All Might. If you can predict that he's going to dash punch at you, you can cancel it real quick, grab him. That's a safer option. Another option you can do against All Might is to just grab him out of the dash, because even though it has armor, this beats armor. So, also another thing with All Might, if he uses his tornado, you can cancel his tornado, grab him out of it. Same way with the Momo shield bash. He's probably not going to realize that he's been canceled yet and not roll immediately, and you can grab him out of it. And that's what 95% does. There are some instances where you use the whole meter, i.e. looking at a Mount Lady, because Mount Lady can't do stomp, she can't use her alpha, she can't dash at anybody, she can only melee when she's in giant form. And that's a good thing to help your team survive a Mount Lady when she's in giant form. Another situation is when you're basically already have won the fight, you're just trying to secure the kill, the last person on the team, and you're just staring at them, so it's harder for them to get away unless they have a movement special action like Bakugo, where he can just get up and dash away. But then after that, it's still hard for him to try and get away. Other instances, you can use it defensively, as in like you're low health, you're trying to run away. You can just back up and stare at somebody. If they run in at you and they try to melee you out of it, you can quickly cancel it and grab them, push them away, combo them, do whatever you need to. But managing this meter is the biggest skill gap on this character and why he is so difficult. So it's very matchup dependent on who you use this on, very situational, but it's a very useful tool in order to control fights. That's Aizawa's job, is to control the fights as a aggressive support, to allow his teammates to do the damage, set up the damage, finish the damage, whatever he needs to do, he can do it. Now, on to specific combos that he has. He has a lot of combos. I did some labbing the other day to make sure that I have pretty much all of the combos that he has possible. Now, your bread and butter combos with him are Alpha. That's very simple, very easy to do. You see most Aizawas probably already do this in the game. So, Alpha, Gamma, basic combo. Does a decent amount of damage. Good to do. There are some instances where you want to do an alpha into another alpha to knock them down and get away, because it's a lot faster than waiting for the full gamma to come out if there's other people nearby. So you can just grab them, knock them down, get away. A lot faster that way. There is also alpha. That's just in case if you want to do some damage, but your gamma is on cooldown, as in like you grab somebody and pull them in, use the full gamma, and then you go and grab somebody else, but your gamma's not on damage. Also, alpha full melee combo does decent damage. Once again, if your beta or your gamma are also down at the same time, that's your most damage. The most quick damage you can do. Those are like the basic combos that he has. Now into like more difficult like combos that he has, sort of like intermediate level combos that he has. He has a gamma into alpha into beta. This does one of the most damage, like one of his most damaging combos that he has, and it uses all of his resources. So Gamma, you can grab them before they hit the ground and Beta and get the full damage. That does more than 350 damage. So that is a very useful thing to know, because you can't grab them if you alpha pull them with Gamma. You can't grab them again. You will just hit them and knock them down if that was to hit. But if you Gamma first, there is a time before they hit the ground where you can grab them. There's a time before the ground where you can grab them, pull them in, and then do the beta like I did earlier. This works on shielded opponents. This works on opponents with just health. Very good. Very good. And the reason you want to know this is because that sometimes you want to use your Gamma, like jumping around and somebody's trying to come in at you. You use the Gamma, or you use the ground version. They're trying to come in, you use the ground version, grab them, and you just return the damage that they were going to do to you back onto them. So that's an intermediate combo. There is Beta into Alpha. That does a little bit less damage, but I mean, you generally don't want to do that combo because, again, you don't want to be using your Beta to start off combos. You use it to end combos or for movement. But that is something to be wary of that you can do if you do get that situation. So there is also Air Melee Alpha. That's just quick damage, quick knockdown. There's Air Melee into Gamma. But the thing is here, you have to hit the Air Melee kind of late. Because you hit the ground a lot faster in order to do the Gamma. Because there is a little bit of startup too. Another combo that you may have seen some people do is to do the Alpha, Melee once, and then into Gamma. Now this combo does a lot of damage as well. But the thing to note is you have to dash cancel the melee, and by what that means is you have to spread and hold forward for a quick second in order to cancel the melee recovery, in order to get the Gamma a lot faster. So you melee, dash cancel into Gamma. It's very subtle. It's very hard to see where the dash cancel is. You might be able to hear it. Yeah, I did it. I activated the Gamma a little bit late there, just so you can see that it is a dash cancel. You heard the startup of it. So that is his intermediate combos, and now into the hardest combos that he has that I labbed out that work. So what you can do is his hardest combos that you can do. There is one here where you melee once, twice, you dash cancel, and you air alpha at the ground. That is a combo that you can do, and it does full damage. So you melee once, twice, dash cancel, and you melee at the ground. Like that. That is a very hard combo to do, and that only spends one of his alphas, and it does a lot of damage. But it's very, very hard to do. Because you have to make sure that you dash, cancel, jump, and alpha pretty much all at the same time. So if you also do the air melee at a really late hit, you can also bait and get the full damage. You have to get a really late hit on that in order for that to work. Again, don't want to be using the beta for damage if you can avoid doing so. So if you can, avoid that. There is also alpha into melee 1-2 into air alpha. And that does require the dash cancel again, just like the other melee one. Sometimes that will happen. Or you get sent backwards because it's trying to to like track the opponent when you do the alpha and it's trying to grab them, and sometimes they end up behind you. So let me see if I can try and pull this off. And sometimes it doesn't give you the grounded, it doesn't give you the air version if you jump too fast or you alpha too fast off the ground. That will also happen. That was the right situation, but I did it a little too late there. There we go. So pull him in, out, melee melee, dash cancel, alpha. Now another thing with these quick air alphas on the ground is that you want to be looking at the ground already in order to make this easy. So you don't have to move your camera, so you just have to do the dash cancel, jump, and alpha the ground. There's no right stick movement, it's already done pre-air. Good night. So it makes that combo a little bit easier, but it's still very hard to do. Trying to get it one more time, but I don't think I need to. There we go. So now with that same setup, you can alpha pull in melee melee, dash cancel. You can also do that with the beta, and you can also do that with the gamma. I'm gonna try and showcase those off here. You can usually get more hits out of that, but you have to hit that pretty early. Yeah, got a couple more hits out of that one. That one just worked. There's the gamma version. But overall, these are the hardest combos that he has that are available to you. With if you want to go for these combos, you can, but in the heat of fights, you generally do want to just stick to the basic combos that he has, just alpha, gamma, alpha, melee combo, alpha, melee once, dash cancel, gamma, like those combos. You want to stick, you really want to stick with the quick ones. But knowing those harder combos, it's still good to know. Like if you're in a 1v1 scenario, you want to maximize as much damage as possible, you can go for those. But either way, that's Aizawa. Just tips for him is just generally want to remain airborne as much as possible using the air alphas. Good night. You also want to kind of manage your cooldowns with him. Even though he has really fast cooldowns, you want to make sure that you don't want to spend all of your alphas like whiffing them on the ground. If you get to your last one, you can just wait a couple seconds, use your beta, move around, wait till it comes back, because it comes back pretty fast. Even at level 1, it comes back pretty fast. Let me show you. It's like if you're missing, just wait. Kick around, just both kicks, you can use this, and then already at 3. Even if you spent the last one, just bait around, it'll come back. You generally do not want to waste all of them, and want to keep track of how many you have used. So, there's one more trick with the alpha that I almost forgot. Now for movement, when you use the alpha, you know how you always get this drop kick? Sometimes you get that, where you just fly with the kick and you don't, like, drop kick the ground. Now that happens when you are kicking parallel to the ground. If there's any sort of angle, he will always bounce off of it, usually on flat ground. But these stairs are perfect to where if you grapple the ground, he will kick straight up it. And you can use that a lot easier to like move around the map. So generally you want to look for slopes if you can. Another good example is this building over here. This one right here. Out for this, slide right up it, kick around. Same with this ground, kick around. This here. This here. Anything that's parallel to the kick, you won't kick the ground, and it's a lot easier to move around. Because there are some instances where you do want to alpha around to try and get away from people. And if you use this, it's a lot easier than waiting for the drop kick to hit the ground and bounce back up, and then try to alpha again to get away. So if you're running away, you kind of want to look for slopes. If you're chasing, you kind of want to look for slopes. So just so you don't get the drop kick portion that hits the ground. So anyway, appreciate anybody who watched this, but Aizawa is a really fun, strong character after he's been fixed, because he was very much not working as intended when he released.
You got to be ready. Impossible.
But either way, that's Aizawa. Hope to see more people playing this character and spending the time to actually learn him. And I appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks.